Yeah. Oh God, my chin. Your co-host with the most chins. This is the Chin Bro podcast. Apparently they can only hear me.
Yeah, last night when I was recording the gameplay, I muted it so I wouldn't pick up my voice while I was sitting there quietly playing that boss rush mode that you will see in the background playing. So hello everybody, welcome. And yeah, my intro, I was explaining how I don't count down anymore as much. I just kind of go because YouTube picks up the countdown for whatever reason. Who knows? Because they record like before, whatever the signal is, or there's a lag time that gets sent from OBS, so they're still catching everything that's being outputted. So welcome to another wonderful week of Zombroz action. John, Jay, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm here back for a podcast after a week hiatus.
Oof.
I jumped into the call today and I said to Reed, I'm like, how long has it been since we did a show? And he's like, 2 weeks. And I'm like, that's not right.
Right?
It's got to be less. So then we verified, and it's been a week off since Zombroz, and oh, have I missed the people?
It felt so long.
I hope you guys. Yeah, for some reason it felt like it was a longer break, but I guess it wasn't. But I hope you guys are glad we're back.
Me too.
And didn't miss us too much.
Oh, definitely.
Or no,
not.
I hope you missed us a lot.
I hope it was unbearable.
I hope you suffered.
There we go. All right, I believe everything's up and running.
For audience and brand building, you want people to miss your show.
Yeah, you want them not to be able to exist without your product.
I can't live without my weekly dose of Zombroz. That's when you know you've built a good brand.
Well, who was it recently? The Kardashian family had something was on. I found its way onto the news channel. It was on a commercial in between news right after news ends, and then like Entertainment Tonight goes on. My mom loves that stuff, and I was just so amazed how this family is so talented at making them just their existence marketable. Just it's amazing.
Spotlight forever.
I know.
They don't like. It's been 15 minutes. That just is extended and extended.
It's unbelievable from their dad's court case to just.
It's a talent.
Absolutely. Like, as much as you might dislike whatever their content is, and I certainly don't watch any of it, so I don't have an opinion on it, but my gosh, are they master marketers.
It's a talent, and I also think there's a savviness that gets underappreciated by them, or not by them, but by the audience, because, like, just based on their content, you wouldn't watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians and think, wow, these people are really savvy in their social media marketing ability.
Yes.
No, they are.
You know what?
Absolutely.
Same person, Logan, Jake Paul, I believe, was the same way. Where they have.
I forgot to put this in the show notes. I wanted to talk about the fight last night.
Oh, that happened! I didn't even know. I forgot. It was this Sunday. I didn't hear anything about it.
Yeah, so I didn't. So before we get into the boss rush mode, I want to talk about Logan Paul versus KSI, which is something originally I didn't think I wanted to talk about. I didn't even care 2 days ago.
I want to look. Okay, you tell me the result because I'll get my live reaction here because I don't know what happened.
You want me to
yeah, I'm not gonna watch it.
KSI won by a controversial split decision.
Oh no!
So here's my little background into it. I had no intention of watching. I also didn't care. I saw KSI and Logan Paul had been, I guess, making a few hype videos.
Sure.
Like Logan Paul had made. He's like, "This is my final remark to KSI." Blah blah blah. They hate each other.
Yeah. Classic. Classic.
And then so last night, me and my roommates were gonna go out to a party, and I was pretty tired, so I was taking a nap or so before we were going to start to get dressed and get ready to go out. And so I overhear my roommate, who is into combat sports like boxing and MMA, talking about it.
Sure.
And he was explaining to my other roommates that this isn't just two YouTubers having a fight.
Yeah.
like this is an actual boxing event where like they have actual fighters
Yep.
and like championship fights in the prelim.
Yep.
And the main event is Logan Paul and KSI.
Yeah, I heard about
like
that.
This isn't just two YouTubers like renting out an arena and doing a fight. Like
Yep.
for some people, they had actual title fights there.
Yes.
So for him, that was kind of his draw into it, which I think really says something about how far YouTube has come.
Absolutely.
Like I think what had happened was, and I didn't watch the first fight, that the first fight was so successful that I think actual people in the world of boxing were like, okay, this is actually something we need to take seriously and start like maybe actually consider working with. And that's probably how fight number 2 came about. I don't know the whole story.
Sure. I think that's fair conjecture.
There also was a there was a vlogger who was fighting as well, and I guess this vlogger had done a couple fights before. I'm not sure if this was his first professional fight, but he has some boxing experience. And he ended up winning his fight pretty convincingly.
Okay.
Like I thought he was going to just like be a scrub out there. I don't know shit about boxing, but no, this guy, like even my roommate, he was like, no, he is clearly the better fighter in this situation.
Cool.
Which was really surprising to see out of a YouTuber.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if this guy's an athlete or what his content's like. Apparently he makes vlogs with his girlfriend. After the event, he proposed to his girlfriend.
Oh,
like, on stage after the fight.
Sure.
And I'm watching that moment and I'm like, I can't tell if this is genius marketing because now this is going to make headlines everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like actually part of the cynic in me was like, I see what you're doing here. But good for them. She said yes. I'm sure they'll be very happy together. But very genius marketing.
Yeah. I mean, that's just the evolution of all this. Think about all the new boxing fans they are going to be able to bring in. I think there is how would I say, an understanding that is starting to come around because there's now been about 10 years of children growing up through middle school, elementary school, and high school saying, I want to be a YouTuber, and understanding influencers are a new gen celebrity, not a replacement for celebrities. Celebrities are still celebrities, but there is definitely a large market that value influencers more than celebrities. Not a bigger market, not a greater market, but there is a market that really sees influencers. This is their TV now. YouTube is their version of cable that our parents used to watch and used to care about. These people that we don't know about, like they'll say some TV host or TV show you've never heard about is the equivalent of a YouTube channel or a YouTube series you might have heard in this day and age. It's fascinating to see how that has been updating through the years. And to also come back a little bit to the marketing thing we were talking about, it would be foolish for boxing, which has had a huge decline, which used to be massive when my parents were young. It used to be the premier sport, to not try and dip into these other markets with these other people to become popular again.
I think it's definitely a smart move by boxing.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense of getting a younger audience.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's absolutely like in other sports that have kind of been on the decline, say like a baseball and say NASCAR, might actually want to look at this and say, how can we start to incorporate some of the, obviously you can't take a YouTuber and just throw him into Major League Baseball and suddenly fix your ratings problem.
Yeah.
But like baseball's been on the decline for years. NASCAR's been on the decline for a while. Like these are sports that aren't reaching the youngest generations. They have some of the oldest viewers in sports.
Yep.
So there's a reason the NBA is doing really well right now. It's because they found a really great way to market their stars. And this is something that our sports are struggling with, and maybe bringing in influencers is a way to do so.
And originally, too, I wanted to add to that is there was a whole page that I believe the Paul brothers sold their marketing behavior when we were talking about the Kardashians earlier. They are brilliant at, like, they're outwardly, their content is garbage to me, the Pauls. I totally dislike it. I think this stuff is so unentertaining, and it's a lot of that YouTube shock value. Even David Dobrik, everyone said he was like a genius on YouTube, in which he is. He's clearly very successful. But I started watching his content maybe a month ago. I just watched 6 or 7 videos in a row. I'm like, oh God, I don't enjoy this whatsoever. This is what this guy's about. These are the videos he makes. Okay, fine. But they might be really, really dumb. Just like other celebrities have these, like, they'll have a scientific opinion and you're like, what are you talking about? You have no knowledge about this. But they're experts at marketing and leverage and manipulating their communities and trying their best to make a sale. they're great salespeople. So I think that's something that shouldn't be lost on the future of YouTube. And there's a great death right there on screen. Yep, Death Machine couldn't jump that gap. But in our world, it's something to keep an eye out on. And speaking of the industry, YouTube updated its term and service. Did you hear about that?
No.
This is something that
I got notifications, but I didn't read it.
Yeah, I got like 5 from all these different accounts, but I tried to read it.
I see them in my email. I'm like, we got to your terms of service, and I'm like, I don't really.
It's so dense, but there's a couple things. With the first things, like the major thing doesn't affect us, which is nice. That kid-friendly content is now YouTube had to settle a lawsuit. They violated a 1998 law that said any kid under 13 years old, you have to protect their data. Period. That you can't sell that data. It's private data without written consent. So they were doing targeted ads, and targeted ads violates that law and violates their privacy. So any channel that has targeted ads towards 13 or under children now is going to lose the right to have targeted ads, which will be a dip anywhere from 60 to 90% of ad revenue based on targeted ad revenue. The next step of that, too, is the fact that for every violation, the YouTube channel could be liable and the owners could be liable for $42,000 worth of fines. So that easily is enough just to cripple a channel. You have like Ryan's Toy Reviews. If they violate that, they're looking at millions of dollars in damages. If that goes through and YouTube doesn't clarify the statements and the accountability, and with this law and the FTC settlement already went through, it's super, super edgy and complicated, and there's going to be a ton of growing pains. So that's something to keep an eye out for. The other thing that was just sent to me by one of my good friends, Hunter, I'm going to get it up. The boxes are going to get messed up. Give me a moment. I'll fix the boxes. I'm fixing them right now. Everything's okay. You should know. Oh, I'm going to mess them up again because I'm going to send John a link here, and then I'm going to come back down. The boxes should be fine now. The new term of service has terminations by YouTube for service changes. YouTube may terminate your access or your Google account's access to all or part of the services if YouTube believes in its sole discretion that provision of the service to you is no longer commercially viable. So YouTube is now holding the right to just completely get rid of your account if you're not commercially viable.
Here's what I think is going on here.
Yeah, tell me.
I think this is like channels that have really gone off the deep end. Not even gone off the deep end so much as just like this is so there's 2 sides of this.
Sure.
One, this is a slippery slope, but I'll get to that in a moment.
Mm-hmm.
But it's channels that like have become an active problem. So for example, Logan Paul uploads another video of him in a suicide forest.
Yes.
Suddenly you could very easily make the argument this is not commercially viable.
Yep.
We're going to delete your channel, and this is a way of being able to cover their butts, to basically say we're holding absolute power to do so, which I think YouTube is in its right to do.
Sure.
The worry is that this could become a little bit of a slippery slope where it's like maybe things that they just don't like, or maybe things that aren't fashionable.
Yep.
So like let's just say like conservative content might
sure
not be commercially viable.
Sure.
That could be taken down. Like regardless of your political views, I don't think that's fair to be able to do that. So I could see a slippery slope there, but I think that's less of an issue, and more so I don't have a problem with this. I think it's more YouTube just covering their butt.
Sure. And I'm curious, but I know I'm going to see it on Twitter trending, or on the Philip DeFranco show. They're going to be talking about this one case where this individual got screwed because they said, they cursed or they did something that wasn't commercially viable, and they just happened to get a manual review that totally screws the pooch on it and totally misses the ball.
I think though, like YouTubers though that have like an established audience, though they can go through back channels within YouTube and actually get answers from actual people and sort it out. Like for example, CGB Grey accidentally got his channel.
I saw that. That was crazy
because he got mixed up with I think what had happened internally was as they were going through the verification reshuffling.
Yep.
They accidentally thought his second channel was his main channel, and his main channel was an imposter. And so he was able to get that sorted within like I think a day.
Mm-hmm.
And when you reach a certain size, I think that can happen. You know, like you
Yeah.
have contacts within YouTube.
Well, that's what there's this one guy that's a family channel, like a family vlog channel, who's a lawyer who's already gone down to, I forget where they cited it from, but it's one of those meetings. He talked with FTC people to let them try and explain to them, like, this isn't okay. What you're doing to smaller channels is they're not going to have that avenue, basically. If you take away 60 to 90% of our revenue based on targeted ads towards kids, we got to find a better supplement here. Because you guys did a blanket law that didn't really have an understanding for what it does. So I think that's great that it's going to evolve that way, and hopefully those people, sadly that it affects and eventually potentially affect us, but they're pushing the envelope to try and be like, all right, let's try and talk about this. Let's try and figure this out. Because, I mean, think about all the Fortnite channels. That's kid-friendly, right? And so if you have targeted ads for Fortnite channels, that will crush the gaming industry. I mean, gaming is such a massive part of YouTube.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, go ahead.
I want to get back to the boxing if we can.
Yeah, sure. No, I'm fine. There's more. There's a lot of cool stuff about that.
I had a fun topic that popped into my head last night.
Okay.
I want to throw on you.
Sure.
But before we get to that, I want to just wrap up on KSI versus Logan Paul.
Please.
So we watched. So as we were like getting ready to go, we were watching a lot of the prelim fights and stuff like that, and a little bit of the main event. And then later in the night, as we actually were at the party, we watched a little bit of it on my friend's phone of the Logan Paul KSI fight.
Mm-hmm.
Very clear they're both amateurs.
Yeah.
And I don't know much about boxing, but I was able to see that. Like, neither of them were guarding themselves much during the fight. They had their hands down.
Oh.
But I almost found it more entertaining.
Oh.
Interestingly enough.
Well, WWE wants a phone call.
Yeah, so I found it more entertaining actually to see kind of two amateurs fight than maybe two professionals. Like,
sure.
Especially because they're only going 6 rounds, and like other fights are like 12 rounds.
Yeah.
So I'm like, come on, this takes forever. Like, get to the end. So we didn't watch much of the fight, and I didn't see how it ended. But KSI won apparently off of a controversial split decision. This got me thinking though.
Yeah.
Let's say we had a zombie YouTuber boxing event.
Oh God.
I've already set up the card.
Okay.
And I want you to predict your winners.
All right, sure.
First fight on the card. It's between the zombroz.
Okay.
Me versus you. Who wins in a boxing match?
I'm saying you. I don't.
How tall are you?
You're taller than me, so that's alone to me. You're gonna have a larger reach. I haven't worked out
I'm
consistently
5'11".
in
How
forever.
tall are you?
I'm 5'10".
I think I've absolutely got the cardio on you.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I haven't lifted in like 3 years. Besides like occasional once a week stuff every now and then for a couple months, or going hard for 1 month. I'm so out of shape. If we're doing it today, no contest. No contest. You see a slaughter, Johnny J bringing me down.
Do you think you could take a punch in a boxing match?
Oof. From who? Mike Tyson would break my neck.
I don't know. For me, just any amateur.
Yeah, probably. I think I could take it from well, that's tough. Any amateur. I mean, you could get amateurs that are very, very strong.
See, I once did with my friends. We had like a mini boxing night.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably not our smartest idea, but it was fun anyway. And we had tried it out. Like, we'd gotten like headgear and gloves and everything. I found it wasn't the first hit that hurt.
Yeah.
It's the second hit.
Huh.
And boxing, people who actually know boxing can talk way more on this but me. But just me, just like for fun boxing with my friends, we tried it. Where it was like, so you take the first hit.
Yeah.
And it really isn't that bad. But it's as you're like in recovery from the first hit, the quick second hit.
Yeah.
That really makes you real.
I wonder if that's like a reality check. Your body kicks in normally when you get hit in real life, and you're like, it's not a big deal. And then the second one goes, and you're like,
I think it's like so the first hit you kind of have your guard up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the second one, like, you're trying to recover from the first, but you can't now because the second one's coming in. I found interestingly the second hit's what hurts more, but rattles you more.
Well, I have no background on that. You gave me 3 months to prepare. I'd make it close. I'd make it a real fight, but not today.
Next fight on the card.
Yeah. It's
a battle between ex-lovers, boyfriend versus girlfriend.
Oh,
Mr. T Lexified versus JC Backfired.
I knew that. Yep.
Who do you take in the fight?
Oh, Lex, he's taller and bigger. Are you kidding me? Definitely. Lex has got it all. I mean, he's got the height advantage, he's got the weight advantage, the strength advantage. You know, JC, he's fine and all, but there's no beating him. I mean, I feel like Lex has strong-armed JC in times I've been at like Z House and stuff with them, where he's just been like manhandling JC on the couch. I'm just like, I'm uncomfortable.
Next fight, this pairing I've put together purely based off of height.
Okay.
I thought, what could be a fair fight? So I wanted to find an opponent for Milo.
Yes.
And I don't want to put from what I remember, I don't remember Milo being super tall. Somebody can correct me.
He's not.
But so let's do Milo versus Matt. Who wins it? I think this one might be a fair fight. But I think Matt's in shape, and I don't know how in shape Milo is. I'm going to assume he is because he looks like fittish.
I'm gonna pick Matt because I know he worked out and he did sports in college and probably still sticks to that a bit. But I also know Milo was drinking like astronaut drinks for like a month to make sure he could do like 18 hours of work a day. So I feel like Matt has got spoiled with the nutrients and the time off from work that he would have the leg up on Milo.
All right. Next fight, now it's the zombie lanky boys.
Oh,
the tall
Liam.
members of the zombies community.
Okay.
Liam versus Pat.
Oh man, I see Liam slapping a lot. I know it's boxing, but
I think so. Liam's the taller person.
Yeah,
I think
he is.
But I also feel like in videos he seemed pretty like skinny.
He is.
Whereas like I think I've only seen Pat in person once, but I remember him being tall, but not like a stick, like tall, but like filled out.
And I know he works out too. I remember he's talked about that in the past on podcasts I've been on with him. So.
I think I go Pat.
I think I go Pat as well, but I also don't want to underestimate Liam's ability to keep him at bay. I feel like he's got like half an inch or maybe more. No, more. Yeah, well, that's like he's got reach, man.
Pat's fitter, I think.
Yeah, maybe, or at least he's got.
This is just my impression of people based off what I see in videos and the few times I've met them in person.
Yeah.
So, if Liam's out there, if Liam's at home right now watching this, like he doesn't know, I'm at the gym every day. I'm a beefcake bodybuilder.
He would never watch this, but I also would love a response from Liam, just being like, "You say what?" And
like, I'm a beefcake.
This could be a whole chain of videos of him getting in shape to box Pat. That would be amazing.
If we get this, if this happens, one, we're making millions of dollars.
Yes. Oh my God, please.
Okay, but so it's like I think Pat's the fitter person.
Sure.
So he'll probably have the cardio and the stamina.
Okay.
But Liam can keep him at bay.
Big time. He's got them arms, man.
So it's like
telling you.
Pat's got to be able to break in, but will Liam let him break in?
There it is.
I don't know.
There's the fight. There's the card right there.
That might be the tougher one to decide. But I could also see it being a complete blowout too.
Yeah.
That one either like goes to like final decision or is like
one round. Yeah.
All right, last fight. John versus Pizza.
Pizza.
You think Pizza?
Yeah, I think Pizza wins. I think Pizza's got all them pizza on his side. I think he can take it.
He's got the pizza power.
He's got pizza power, man. And you know, John doesn't seem like a fighter to me. John just
John's not a fighter. John's a lover.
Yeah, I'm telling you. John just, he's here, man. He's hanging out. He's here to have a good time. He's like, what's with all the confrontation, guys? Let's ease up here.
I'd be curious to know what you guys think in the chat. And if you have any other fight matchups, be sure to leave them in the chat or in the topic time. Because I was thinking about this in my head. I'm like, as I'm watching the fight and I hear my roommates talking, I'm like, what if we did a zombies boxing card? Like, what would that look like? Who would win?
Oh, well, he's not a part of it anymore, but I'd take Quinn in any fight he's in. Quinn's a motherfucker. He would fight. God.
I wouldn't want to fight Quinn.
Never bet against Quinn.
I think Quinn and I. Here's the thing. I think Quinn and I actually, if we were to fight,
that's a better card.
We would match up well in terms of size.
Yeah.
Because I think we're roughly the same height and similar builds. I might be a little like bigger in terms of like I might be a little fatter than him. But I think we might match up well. But I just think Quinn would go into like fight or flight mode.
Dude.
And I wouldn't be able to match the energy.
No way.
Like it'd be too intense.
100%. He never quit. He never quit. You'd have to like literally knock him out.
And I wouldn't be ready for it. Someone's saying I'm just a runner, and from my understanding of boxing, cardio is a huge part of it. Like, so my roommate was explaining it to me, who knows like I guess what's the word for this genre of sports? Combative sports, or there's a word, I just forget it. I feel like I used it earlier in the show. But the world of like fighting.
Sure.
Like Manny Pacquiao apparently runs 9 miles a day at like a 6-minute pace. Cardio is apparently a huge part of
it makes sense. Fighting. It's all about endurance inside the boxing ring and combat sports, martial sports. It's probably martial sports, maybe. I don't know. But with that said, I think people underestimate your strength as well, because when we did COD XP and the sumo shit, holy shit.
Oh, dude, I was good at that.
You beat the shit out of everybody, man.
I think I forget who I beat. I know
you beat me. That's for sure.
I beat you.
Yeah.
I feel like I was undefeated at that.
To a point. Yeah. I think you went against Greg at one point too, didn't you? And you guys couldn't get each other down and you ran out of time.
That might have, yeah.
Because I remember you sweating one time where you were like, God, I almost had him. And I was so past it at that point.
Yeah, I was surprisingly good at that. That was the OG zombie YouTuber boxing event right there.
Yeah. Blundell versus Zelensky, Syndicate versus Noah. See, I don't know who matches up against Noah.
Well, I was having the reason I didn't put Noah in the card was I wasn't sure who to match him up against. Like Noah, I remember being pretty tall.
He's tall and pretty strong.
Like he's tall and he's pretty built.
Yeah.
But it's like I thought maybe John or Pizza.
But
I kind of wanted to stick Pizza and John together as like the UK guys.
The UK card.
Like yeah, like which one is the better UK fighter?
Yeah.
And I think Pizza and John would take Milo, so I didn't want to match them up. Turbo versus Jack the Bus, or
yep.
Or you know what, Tim and Crazy Rabbit do a lot of videos.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good matchup.
Noah's 6'5". Jesus.
Is he?
No,
no.
Someone just said that. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Like, and so
he's tall though. He's taller than everybody, to be fair. But he's not.
Noah and Pat. Pat's tall.
Yeah.
Somebody in the chat said Pat's 6'2".
Yeah.
3 inches is a lot though.
I believe Noah was taller than Pat when they were together though, so I think he does have a little height on him. But he's not like Dr. Disrespect tall. He's a freak, Dr. Disrespect, how tall he is. And in terms of like the gaming community. Also, I want to read the donation because it's topical right now. Ricky Hall donates, hearing these zombie boxing battles is the most interesting zombies discussion I've heard all year.
Yeah. Well, this idea popped into my head. I'm like, this would make for a great podcast topic.
Rizzo versus Reed. I don't think Rizzo would have any interest in boxing.
How big is Rizzo?
Didn't you meet him in real life? Didn't you meet him at an event or no? Oh, you didn't show up. You didn't. Remember. Actually, I don't think you showed up to the reveal event. Yeah. So yeah, he was chill, but he doesn't.
Mailbox versus Chucky. That might actually work in terms of size.
Oh, Mailbox would get him though. I know Chucky likes. I mean, maybe he's put on some weight, but Jack is, man. Come on, that dude lives.
Yeah, Jack looks pretty fit.
He's fit, man. That was like a priority when I last saw him. Was working out.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll win that then.
Guns for Hire versus
It's tough with some. It was tough. Another tough part, like somebody said, how about COD Zombies HQ?
Yeah.
The problem with some people is I have no idea how big they are.
Well, I met most of them at the reveal event. He's pretty tall. He'd be a good matchup height and wise for Noah, but I still think Noah's a little taller. I don't have a good matchup for Noah.
The problem is when you're doing matchups, it's not just height.
Yeah.
But it's also width.
Yeah. He's pretty width. He's got a width on him too.
It's like Liam and Noah might be a good matchup in terms of height.
Yeah.
But Liam looks pretty lanky in videos, whereas Noah doesn't. So like I think it'd be a mismatch there.
Who's the most fit zombie YouTuber?
I'm gonna throw it out there and say I can beat every zombie YouTuber in a distance run.
I agree with that right now.
All right, every zombie YouTuber line up. We're gonna just do a run. Last one to stop wins.
Yeah, I think I'd
take that.
I do think you would right now. Steve versus Relaxing End.
I like that one. That's a good one.
I feel like the two of them wouldn't box. They'd just do something in the middle of the ring, or like they have to turn it into some sort of like speed running or talent competition. It wouldn't turn violent.
Who would be a good matchup for Lagan? Lagan, I remember looking strong.
Yeah. Lagan could go against Zombie HQ, but I think Zombie HQ might be a little taller than him. Lagan's a normal dude, man. He could definitely go. Yeah.
Someone said Turbo versus Chicken Parm.
Oh, Drifter. Drifter's tall as shit. Drifter would be another one. Even though he's not really zombies, he dips his toe in every now and then. If we go extended community here.
Here's a money-making idea. Z House versus Boogie Boys. Yeah. I think the Z House wins. Handedly.
Well, Lex has to fight himself. I feel like that's an entertaining card.
Well, yeah. But if you compare the Z House versus the Boogie Boys, like you said, I guess Jack's pretty into, I guess, like staying fit.
Yeah, from last I knew.
I feel like Pat has mentioned working out.
Yes,
before.
I mean he's got his G Fuel, loves his protein powder.
Yeah, Matt as well. I know Matt does. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say the Z House is the fitter of the two groups.
I think so.
And will single-handedly win that handedly win that boxing match. Lex just has to leave. He's like, why are you hitting yourself?
It would just be a normal Lex video, to be honest with you.
Yeah. All right, should we get to the actual meat and potatoes of this episode?
Yeah, this was great though. So we still got to do our Patreon updates and the intros.
Oh God, we haven't even done that.
Yeah, so we apologize for the tangents, but those were interesting topics, and I really don't apologize. That's more interesting podcast talking about really cool stuff, and maybe you learned something. That's really the idea and topic of my channel at this point now. It's just like, hey, maybe you learned something new, maybe you didn't. That's what we're doing now. All right, so go ahead, John. Patreon updates.
Patreon updates. Update number 1. We're reworking the Patreon. So here's the honest truth about it. We sometimes just don't have shit to talk about. Like part of the reason we didn't do a show last week is because I kind of said to Reed, I'm like, there isn't that much to say, and it'd just be us jumping on the show and talking about nonsense for an hour to 2 hours. And we don't think that makes for a good show. And if there's not something to make a good show on, then maybe it's just best we don't do an episode that week. And the way the Patreon is set up right now, it's a monthly thing, and you guys typically expect 4 episodes a month. So it's kind of like I would feel guilty if we charge people for a full slate of episodes in a month and people don't get that slate of episodes. So we're reworking the Patreon right now. There'll probably be changes by the end of this month. They'll be set in stone. But until then, well, not until then, but just because like we didn't really deliver on any of the perks in October and we missed 2 shows, we're just going to refund October. I had to wait until all the payments process. The way Patreon works is the money kind of slowly trickles in. I guess some banks are faster than others, where it's like some people, their money comes in like the day after. Other people, it takes like a week. I don't know exactly how that works. That's all back end banking details that are beyond me. But I think now that all the payments are processed, I'm just going to go in and refund everybody for October. In the meantime, we're reworking the Patreon so that way it kind of better suits how the structure of the show is going to go forward, where it's like if we have an interesting topic or something fun to talk about, we're going to do the show. If not, you guys just unfortunately have to wait a week, but we think it'll be better for the overall quality of the show. And with the changes to the Patreon, also updates to the format of the show are coming. We're going to try to make the show less topical. So less about us saying like, oh, this is what's new in zombies, and more like today we're going to talk about this boss rush mod because we think it's cool. Or we're going to have on this this custom mapper or this member of the community who's doing something really interesting because we think they'd be a fun conversation to have. So that's kind of how the show's going to evolve over the next few months. So be patient. We appreciate it. And yeah, also update 2 things. I've been really bad about getting Reed the shipping supplies for the cups, and also Reed is kind of burnt out. I mean, you can mention this, just having to ship what is like 700 plus posters. Yep,
700 plus posters was just a lot. And then John sent me like 100 things to ship when I wasn't even done doing the replacements. So I sent 700 orders out, and then I still had like another 10 to 30 replacements that I managed over the next 2 or 3 weeks after that as well. So then John's just like, here's 100 more things to send out. And I was like,
So we've been slow on the mugs. Part of it's my fault. A lot of it is also just it's a lot on Reed's plate. But I'm gonna make a point this week to make sure Reed has the shipping supplies, and then hopefully they'll get out soon. Apologize on being slow for that. But those are the Patreon updates. We appreciate everybody who's been patient with us, and hopefully the show will grow for the better over the next few months. I'm excited.
Right. I have some personal updates. If you have tuned in, I started uploading again. Pardon me, more regularly. I have 2 new editors to announce. We're in a probation period. Give me a minute. Excuse me. Sorry. You think we've been talking for 30 minutes and I'd be clear to talk at this point. Chroma Stone, I believe. If you've seen his stuff on Twitter or across the world, David Vonderhaar and many Treyarch employees like to retweet his awesome memes he does. I reached out to him quite a while ago and just was like, hey, do you have any interest in like editing videos? You're extremely talented. I'd be happy if you worked on the channel with me and we could split things up if you were that interested. And he agreed. And then I didn't get around to him because I was still just overwhelmed by all the YouTube stuff and trying to figure out what I'm going to do with the channel moving forward. Long story short, he's still on, and we have him as an editor, as well as I reached out last week, or about 10 days ago. I was looking for a new editor, and I wanted to have, because I wasn't sure if he was still in on it, which he is, but spreading it across 2 people, I don't fall into the trap of, hey, where's my video? Hey, I need a video. And one guy just getting dumped on with all the videos all the time. And then they're like, you know what, guy, maybe this isn't for me. I don't want to do this. Instead, we spread it off between 2 editors. And then myself, I'm also editing stuff. And it makes the whole process a lot easier. And as you saw, we got an Overwatch video and a video talking about COD sales. And I was rusty as hell, man, in the videos, all right, to be fair. And they made me look amazing. They made the videos very engaging and interesting, and that's the type of content you can expect. I believe, to give everyone watching the show a preview, I have the topics for this upcoming week I'd be happy to share. I will do that right quick because I shared that with some people. So the video topics would be Blizzard's poor apology and how they went from being one of the most beloved franchises. Oh, no, that's Blizzard's poor apology and how that killed the Hong Kong momentum. Modern Warfare's campaign and Spec Ops review. Fallout 76 issues. I combined those 2. Fallout 76 killed the love for Bethesda. How did the company go from love to hate it in 1 year? And will Modern Warfare get loot boxes? Black Ops 4 changing microtransactions after the season and what that tells us. Those are the general outlines for what's to come for the videos that they're going to be editing and making. But that's like the idea and what we're going for. And I'm trying to be transparent because the channel is clearly changing. Did you lose any subs, John? I just had a day where I lost 1,000 subs. Just gone for whatever reason. Did YouTube do something or...
I'm just I probably didn't notice because I'm just generally bleeding subs because I haven't uploaded in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, so that's what I figured too. So all in one day I got hit with 1,000 subs. I'm like, that's kind of weird. But
I'll check right now.
Basically, I have 2 editors and myself, so technically 3 editors on the channel. I record a whole bunch before the week starts. I throw those topics off to those editors. Then when they make it into good videos, I give it my approval. I don't just go blind and upload it. I make sure I put my final touches on it, and then you guys have more videos. And we're aiming for 3 to 4 videos a week, and plus zombroz when they come out. So you should have a lot of content, and it should be able to, I don't know, see the channel transform into something more interesting. So that's the direction you can go. And in case you're worried, like, I want more zombies, they're probably, besides topical videos, I'm definitely not covering zombies like I did in the past. That's definitely a thing of the old. So if you need to unsubscribe, totally understandable. That's not going to be the majority of the content. So I wanted to let that happen. Though, with that said, I still have plans for like discussing what went wrong with Black Ops 4 and criticisms of the zombie mode, and if Zombies comes out in Black Ops 5, which is just less than a year away already. I mean, that stuff still, I'm going to be interested in talking about those things. Black Friday. So November 29th to December 13th, I have a poster sale. So be on the lookout for that. If you guys missed the original Ether poster sales, you can go get more of them during that time frame. I'm pretty sure this is probably going to be one of the last relevant times, unless BO5 brings back the Ether crew, which I don't think, that you'll be able to get these posters. So if you missed it, here's your opportunity. And Ironsides will be ending their sponsorship with me if we can't renew and negotiate a new contract, I reach out to them. But at the very least, I have loved having Ironside as a sponsor, and I hope we can continue. But if not, this is going to be our last month sponsored by Ironside Computers.
Tragic.
All right. 41 minutes in, John. Let's talk about the topic.
Now we're actually hitting the topic.
Yep.
It's been a good show, though. I have had fun.
It's a good show.
So, Boss Rush mod.
Yes.
Disappointed.
Disappointed?
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Not what I thought it was going to be.
Okay. What did you think?
So
what were your expectations?
My expectation. So when I first saw the mod, I had the expectation in my head of it being one boss fight after another in a gauntlet.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I opened up the mod and I read it, and I was disappointed. I'm like, oh, this just lets you jump straight into the boss fight.
Gotcha.
Which was fun in its own right.
Mm-hmm.
But what I really wanted, and I'm hoping somebody could find a way to do this, and it just might be too much, is to find a way to set up a mod where it's like you complete the Shadows of Evil boss, throws you right into the DE boss. Complete the DE boss, throws you right into the Zet, and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
But I quickly realized immediately that wasn't how this was going to work.
Yep.
But it was still actually a lot of fun, and I found it really interesting to just jump around to the different boss fights. I had actually a lot of fun doing it. It was the first time I'd revisited these boss fights in probably 2 years, ever since the last Easter eggs for charity.
Sure.
And it was a good time. What did you think?
I adored it. I didn't have that. You know, that does sound really cool. I forgot the boss rush modes, because did IW do it like that?
I was trying to figure that out in my head too as I was playing. I'm like, was it IW that had the boss rush mode?
Because Smash Brothers is what you described, where you just keep getting the bosses. I mean, that was and even before Ultimate, I believe there was another boss rush as well. Because I remember Ridley and the Pokemon with an R that's green, Rayquaza, maybe.
Rayquaza,
yeah. I remember all that stuff, and you were fighting all them. So this has been around since, I think, even Brawl, Subspace Emissary. So these are all really cool ideas. I didn't even think about it because I can't imagine how difficult that would be loading things in. I was thinking in IW, where you just go into a room, get all your crap, and then you jump into the boss fight before a boss fight. I loved it. I absolutely adored it. I think it is one of the coolest things ever, in the sense that it allows you to learn. It allows you to challenge yourself. This is such a good. What did you do? What did you touch? What? Your microphone's just did static.
I touched it.
Okay, don't move. Everything's
bad.
It's fine now. It's fine now. Just
okay.
Everything's fine. Don't touch anything.
Weird.
That was weird. I adored. Oh no, we're almost through it. We're okay. I adored playing through that mode so much, because you can choose to have a few perks, no perks. You can choose your difficulty, basically, what weapons, your loadouts. It gives you full customization without having to run through the Easter egg steps, which I love.
That was what I appreciated. It really, when you just jump into a boss fight without actually doing the 40 minutes of Easter egg before it gives you a new perspective on the boss fight.
Yes.
It also really highlights the differences between boss fights as well.
Absolutely. And I wish we could get a mod like this for BO4, because I think it would be cool to see it out of my anger I'm always at by the time I get to a boss fight, whether it's through Gauntlet or the actual Easter egg. I think it'd be so much more fun just to actually try and experience what the Easter egg is in the boss fight without having to go through all the hoops. Roland did suggest Little Robot, he's one of the top tier modders in our community, has his own boss rush involving Sonic bosses previously for BO3, works as a multiplayer mod. Interesting. Maybe we'll put that on the show. Yeah, that might be a good idea, and have JC on.
Oh, that would be a good idea.
Yeah, that'd be a cool idea. But I also loved how beautiful it looks. I love the fact, because IW had it all nice in the walls, and I always thought how cool it looks to have the lockers. But even though it's just like a dev room, I love all the glows. It's totally a Treyarch touch.
Yeah.
Oh my
I did
gosh.
Too. I really appreciated spawning in and seeing like everything.
Yes.
I don't think Treyarch would do it like that. I think
don't
Treyarch
either.
would put a little bit of polish on it. Like
Definitely.
They'd have a little, like they'd be on the wall or something.
Sure.
But there was still something cool about seeing every perk bottle lined up, every weapon, every little like
ability
upgrade. You know, like you had the Arnie's next to each other, and next to the Arnie's are the upgraded little Arnie's. And
It
I'm like, well, I'm grabbing the upgraded ones.
it was an
Um,
awesome visual representation of the things that were offered inside the map that show you just
yeah,
how much was in these maps. I
I
loved
I
it.
partic- I particularly noticed that in GK,
Yeah.
where in GK you have the dragon on your arm.
Mm-hmm.
Forget you have one other thing
Strikes,
I'm forgetting. You have the
strikes,
strikes, you have the dragons, you
swords,
have
time attacks. You
yeah,
have the
yeah,
helmets.
then I saw like all 10 swords, then you had the gas mask, you
Yeah.
had or not the gas mask. I think it was it a
Helmet,
gas mask?
helmet, gas med Zet. Helmet.
You had the helmet
Or
and
the
then you also I
wings.
think had a claw and then you had a wing. There were two different helmets you
Claw
could have.
Claw was DE.
Claw was no, but I know GK had two helmets. I
Valkyrie
forget what
helmet and the
that's
Mangler
what it was, the
helmet.
Valkyrie helmet. Yeah, the Valkyrie helmet, the regular helmet, you had the wings, which I don't what did the wings do? I forget.
Mm-hmm.
What did
They
they do?
helped reduce fire damage from the dragon, I believe.
Oh,
That's
that's
maybe
okay.
something else.
But yeah, it was really actually like it gave you a real sense of how many features are on this map when you see them all lined up.
Oh, loved it. I mean, the spider bite or spider bait
Yeah,
Easter egg.
I noticed that particularly with Zet too.
Yeah.
Zet had a lot.
It was amazing to see these jumps. And then again, to look at BO4, I look at it and I'm just like, shit, man, where'd it go? They innovated and they made big risks, but in such strange places. Like they made jumps that we weren't necessarily looking for, which was fascinating. I mean, getting rid of basically map specific specialists really, really, I think was not the way to go. Because it was awesome when you see the Skoldnian Sapwi or whatever specialist weapon was available inside the maps, the Ragnaroks or the Gauntlet. It's so much livelihood. Even the monkey bomb upgrade. That was the first time I ever got the monkey bomb upgrade in GK. That was so cool.
I forgot. I honestly, I completely forgot there was a monkey bomb upgrade.
Mm-hmm. I mean, but there's so much. There's so much in these maps that are packed in there. It's amazing. It really was.
Yeah.
The plunger showed up in DE. So I love the visual presentation of all of that. Zet was the only one I found bugs in, which was hilarious because like Zet was a buggy map on launch, and also it's a map full of bugs. But the spider bait, when I did that, as soon as it ends, apparently at the end of a spider bait, it automatically spawns a thrasher, and it one hit me. I was like, what? And then also, as it ends, you're not allowed to be in that room. It auto kills you if you're in Takio's room or the hallway without opening it properly. And I was insta killed every time I was trying to leave there or shoot the things from behind.
Oh, I didn't have that because once I ended that boss fight, I just left the game.
Yeah. Oh, I tried to explore around because I thought that was a cool feature as well.
Yeah,
Even before you jump in the boss fight, all the doors are open in some places.
With GK, I was looking around because GK doesn't actually spawn you in the boss arena; it spawns you just outside, like it does the whole animation with Sophia.
Yeah, which I think is still awesome how they do that.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you, it was funny with the Zet one.
Yep.
I kind of forgot how easy.
Yeah,
that boss fight.
Just a timer.
That boss fight is a joke. Like shoot the arms, survive. Compared to others, I was struggling in. I couldn't beat the Rev one.
You'll see if I'm not sure if we'll get there in the gameplay actually, but Rev, I did it like 4 or 5 times and finally said, screw it, I have to use keyboard and mouse, and that's how I finally beat it. Because the aiming, it's what's that?
Yeah.
The aiming was just, I couldn't do it. And you don't have access to weapon kits to have extended mag. So it was so frustrating. And if you go down, and I didn't want to use near-death experience for everything either.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that. Touch any of the gobblegums because I read on the like just the listing on the community thing.
Yeah.
On the community page, it said try best you don't use the gobblegums. Apparently they're buggy.
Oh well.
So I didn't use any of the gobblegums when I played.
I didn't have a problem. I used them every time. And head trauma, because I remember Alexa was always like, "Dude, this is the best gobblegum." Holy crap! Getting a chance to basically test these boss fights is awesome. I love how this would have been an amazing tool to use before EE for C.
I thought about that. This would be perfect because it's just practice.
Yes.
You cannot practice boss fights in a traditional sense because you also are practicing the Easter egg at the same time. So you got to go through 20 to 30 minutes of an Easter egg just to get one practice round of the boss fight. But with this mod, you can get a team together and run one boss fight in like 5 minutes. It's super easy.
And I could only imagine if this came out when BO3 was at its height, the amount of streams and challenges where there'll be like the no perks because you have no perks in there, or swords only. Because I saw GK with all the swords lined up and having near-death experience in swords. And there's again this fun of giving tools to players to play a bazillion different ways. That I feel like was the spirit. This was like the spirit of mutations is in here, right? This is what Treyarch tried to give players, but didn't quite hit the mark.
Yeah, and I think there's something going on visually that helps it hit the mark.
Sure.
Where with mutations, you're kind of in a menu, and things are broken off into sub menus, and as a result, you don't visually see all of your options. But in this mode, you spawn into the room and you see in front of you 50 different options.
Awesome.
And I think there's something actually really going on visually that makes it much easier to kind of get a sense of than when everything's obfuscated behind 5 different menus.
Yes.
And you're not even in the map yet.
I mean, take another step further with that too. How nice was it when you were doing Pack-a-Punch and you didn't have to wait for Pack-a-Punch? It just Pack-a-Punched it for you instantly.
Yeah.
I mean, it just everything about it just got you in the game mode. Did you do the Spider Queen fight as well?
No, I didn't. I saw that option, but I wanted to just jump into the Zet boss fight.
I did Zet first, and then I did the Spider Queen, and then the Spider Queen actually brings you right back to Zet, so you could do the boss fight immediately after, which is nice.
So I didn't understand the purpose of the Spider of doing. Was it just so that if you just wanted to do the boss fight?
Yep.
Or because I'm like, well, the only thing I'd get out of this is Widow's Wine, but I can just go and grab the perk. So yeah, I didn't think about that. To me, it was just like, I'm not sure what the point of this is.
It was just to give you a chance to truly fight all the bosses. I like the touch in did this happen with you? When you start the boss fight, it triggers a doppelganger Easter egg?
No, I didn't.
What?
I didn't notice that.
No! That's what happened to me. It scared the shit out of me. Yeah! I started the fight, and Nikolai's doppelganger screamed at me to start the fight. I just showed it on stream and everything too. I gotta try it again then. Yeah, if you go back on the stream, or I'll just bring it back so I can get it. I beat it. So when does it start the fight here? I'll show you.
I'm watching the fight on your end, but maybe I just.
Okay, so here it starts. Do I have it? Yep. I get jumped right there.
Is it right as you jump in?
So no. So here I am. I'm setting up, and then I go to fight Takio. Nothing's happening. I turn around, and then I get jump scared. I wonder if I naturally triggered it. I don't know how you would do that.
I didn't get this.
I thought that was such a cool feature, if that is a thing. Because I think that's a nice touch to be like, they're really giving you all these features in these maps, even though the golden bucket's not in here. You just see how loaded these things were full of content.
I'm skimming through trying to find it. I'm not seeing it.
Oh, if you just go latest, I went back and forth 3 times with it already on the latest of the stream.
I see you're watching the cutscene right now.
Okay, so once the stream catches up just past that, I replay the jump scare 3 or 4 times. Wow, that's way behind. I'll just do it one more time.
Then I'll just leave it open and let this roll.
Cool.
So here's what I found kind of oh, there we go.
Yeah, isn't that cool though?
Yeah, I didn't experience that.
Oh, darn it. All right, I gotta check that out later again.
But so I want to talk about the difference between actually the Zet boss fight and the GK boss fight.
Sure.
I have a theory.
Okay.
So here's my suspicion.
Okay.
Zeta has the most basic boss fight. It's really just a room.
Yep.
With all the enemies that they have, and then occasionally a few vines come down. Like even the model of like Nikolai or Takio as like a monster. It's pretty static and doesn't do much.
Yes.
And I think they intentionally cut corners on this Easter egg. One, because they were already trying out a bunch of new things, like we've already heard from them. That like this map was very much a testing ground and we were building for the future on this map.
Yes.
And they knew looking ahead, they were going to have a massive epic boss fight in GK with a mech robot and a dragon in a very large arena. And said to themselves, this boss fight needs to be basic so that the next boss fight can be amazing.
Yep.
That's my theory. And I never really noticed that until I played them one after another in succession.
I mean, to me, I feel like their budgeting for boss fights, all of it went to GK, man. This was their
Like,
best
so
boss fight. Even though I don't
if
like
you
the mechs, the context story, all that be damned. Let's just talk boss fight. The scale of this boss fight is the biggest by far.
I mean, you got two enemies. If we were to rank the boss fights in terms of scale and epicness, GK's at the top. DE.
Yeah.
Rev.
Yep.
Shadows. Zet.
Yep, I'm with you on that.
It's like GK's boss fight is on an absolute different level. And meanwhile, like Rev's is kind of just a step up from the Shadows Easter egg.
Yeah. Which is fascinating. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, so what I actually kind of appreciated was that, and this is something I didn't notice till I was really sitting down and just playing them all one after another. It makes sense that the Rev Easter egg is much like the Shadows Easter egg, because you're again fighting the
Shadow Man.
The Shadow Man, and they have very similar mechanics where like he gets shot by the beam.
Yep.
Now the beam is triggered differently in this fight, but then his shields are down and you can shoot him, and you want to shoot him till he backs up into the thing.
Sure.
And then you trigger the button. I never noticed how similar they were and how fitting that is until I played them one after another.
Nice. Yeah, no, I very much did recognize that, only because I ran them probably more than you, like because of all the times I did the EE for C stuff, and just I love doing Easter egg completions.
Well, you probably, like, to me, I had to, for a few of them, I had to look up guides on how to beat them.
No.
Yeah. Oh no.
No.
I did. Well, what it was, I had general ideas. Like I knew generally how to beat the Shadows and how to beat. DE I didn't need a guide for. Zet, I didn't know what I was doing for Zet, but I figured it out along the way.
Yeah, you have to have the KT upgraded or you're screwed.
GK, I knew what was going on in GK, but I didn't quite know how to do it. So I quickly looked up a video for that one, and I would just watch it. I would skim through it, get reminded, and then jump into the boss fight.
I kept forgetting how to pull out the shield. I don't know why. I couldn't remember it was down on D-pad. Did they change it, right? They must have changed it then. I couldn't remember. Every time I went to take out the shield, I was hitting like R1 or something. I'm like, shit, that's not right. That's not right.
Also, speaking of the shield, the GK boss fight was killing me because I kept breaking my shield.
Oh,
really
that'll do it.
I'd get like through 2 stages of the dragon, my shield would be gone, and I'd be fucked.
Oh man. Well, head trauma, man. I'm telling you, it does like max damage on anything you hit, and as long as you have a bullet weapon, using the RPK in DE or
I would run the RPK and usually whatever wonder weapon you had.
It just destroys.
I was avoiding mule kick though, because there were a few instances where like the weapon I needed was my mule kick weapon.
Yep.
And then I would go down. Like I lost my bows through that. And I'm like, okay, we're just not grabbing mule kick again. And
did you what weapons did you take into the DE boss fight?
DE boss fight, I brought Haymaker and the bow.
Dude. You do XM one shots the keeper during when he's vulnerable.
Well, so here actually where I wasn't positive. I thought you have to use the bows on the keeper.
Nope. That's why I think this thing is awesome, because you can test so much stuff.
Like I always just assume you needed the bow for the keepers.
Nope. If you watch Pizza's challenges.
Every time we played, we would just load them up with arrows from the bow. Because
in speedruns, it doesn't make sense to be hitting the box to try and get an XM, which will one-hit them. Keep your pistols is super dangerous, but they're also super effective too, and some people use that as strategies as well during E4C, just to spam the pistols, because that does a lot of damage as well. It one-hits them twice, and then you need 2 or 4 shots to get them on the final spin. Every time, I'll get them first go. I'll never have an instance where I don't deal enough damage. And head trauma destroys the soldats with the RPK. Not even close.
Oh, I knew head trauma would be good for it, but I was trying to not use the gobblegums because I thought they were broken. Maybe they weren't, but I remember reading a note on the just like
I'm sure some of them are. I'm sure some
saying
of them
like be careful with the gobblegums. Some of them aren't working well. So I was like, okay, I don't want to break anything. I just won't touch them. But So, like I said, I lost my bow because I was like, it was my mule kick weapon. And I'm like, well, I'm not using that again. Because I had thought that the bows were the only way to kill them. So when I lost my bow, I just killed myself and restarted. Because I'm like, well, there's no sense now. I can't beat it.
Nice. I I was so rusty, man. Even watching some of the boss fights back now too. It was really cool to see me start to get back in the hang of things, and really I'm feeling that, oh yeah, this is why we like zombies. This stuff was super fun, man. Those boss fights were great. And because you were learning things, like you just learned that. There's multiple times I felt like I was learning more and more things about the boss fights, the mechanics, and how they worked, how I could adjust my strategies for it or make it harder for fun. Ah, man, this mod really did so much for me
It's a really
enjoying
interesting
it.
tool.
Yeah.
It's not just a way to beat the bosses really easily, but it's also a way to learn the game in ways you never could before. Because
Absolutely.
who's gonna spend time researching different mechanics in boss fights when it takes you 30 minutes just to get to it?
Right.
And a team of 4 people.
Think about classic gobblegums, even though they might not be stable right now. People can easily jump into every boss fight and test every gobblegum now to see what's the most effective gobblegum. Something they might have been like, this probably doesn't work. And then they try and they go, holy.
And generally, the matches are pretty short, less than 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah, dude. Rev can be done in like 2 minutes.
Some of them are really fast, yeah.
Rev really gets rid of all the middle steps of like, there's the which is one of my favorite parts, but the boss fight, like medium, the halfway point in the Rev Easter egg where you fight the Margwas and you read the book and you click things into place and you're dodging the elemental attacks. That's not present. You don't have to worry about that. Oh, I love how all the masks are unlocked. How awesome was that? Loved it. I can't believe masks didn't come into Black Ops 4. That was like so surefire. Zet set up these things like the golden bucket, the imprints, masks, weapon modifications, all these things forward, like the first this gas mask, then the percentage modifiers to your characters, and then Black Ops 4 did nothing with any of that stuff. There's so much potential. I loved it. Oh,
I don't know.
But it was a lot of fun, and Rev was the biggest bitch and a half to beat. I like, though, in Rev, all the windows...
Rev can't traditionally be done in solo, right?
Yes. Everything can be done solo except Shadows of Evil. Thanks for reminding me that I loved how you could do it solo the rails. Did you do that? Did you finish the Easter egg?
Wait, what?
You could do it solo completely. So you...
Which one?
Shadows of Evil.
Yeah. No, I did I didn't beat it. I couldn't beat it.
Oh, well,
I died like 5 times.
I near deathed out because that was the first one I jumped into, and I wanted to feel it out and get gameplay, and then I got stronger.
I played them all in order. I gave each one about 4 or 5 tries.
Sure.
Or I tried to beat it. And Shadows for me is I needed an extra person.
Yep.
Because I was having a hard time. I found myself in a balance of like, okay, so I'd run through and I'd activate each keeper.
Yep.
And that was also kind of annoying because if you weren't fast enough, some of them will put their sword down.
Yeah, he's knocking it down. There's actually a timer to that mechanic where he raises his arm and knocks him down. I forgot about that, and kept happening.
Well, because when we always played it, we had 4 people and we just hit it at once.
Instantly.
Everybody had a keeper.
Yep.
But you don't notice it until you actually have to run around and do it yourself. All 4 of them, and if you're not fast enough, he knocks them down. So I got to do that. I also got to make sure there's not many zombies. So I'll throw a monkey bomb and then try to shoot him until he's over. But usually the monkey bomb isn't enough time. Oh yeah, the Arnie's. But so then I have to throw a second Arnie, and then that takes a little bit of time. And if you're not quite fast enough, and you also just don't have enough space. I found it really difficult to keep shooting him, avoiding zombies, and also being present at the book to hit the button. Or there's not the book, but the summoning key. Yep. No, it is definitely a challenge. Shadows has generally been in my head one of the easier boss fights, but not in solo.
No, you got to have the Mars Agua, period. Because what I would do, throw Arnie, then you Mars Agua behind you, and that takes a little longer and takes heat off you, and then you can just try and focus on shooting him as fast as possible. I think if you play mouse and controller, it's so much, or keyboard and mouse. Oh my god, I combined the two. It's so much faster. Oh my god, you just blow through it in a way because the rate at which you can accurately shoot and move, it seems like a complete equalizer for solo to me. Once I was able to do that in the Rev boss fight, it was like, yeah, no, this is easy town. But for like using controller, oh my god, it was so freaking hard.
Yeah, I was going controller.
Yep,
I'm not
same.
comfortable enough with keyboard and mouse. I don't think I would be able to survive.
I've slowly gotten it over the years. Not as well as controller.
I
still best.
I used to be. And then once when I first got my PC, I was keyboard and mouse, and I
Mm-hmm.
was probably keyboard and mouse for about 2 years. And
Mm-hmm.
then I got a wired controller, and there was just a comfort to the wired controller where it's like I don't have to be upright at my computer, or I can hang back a little, and I would
Mm-hmm.
always just go I would
Yep.
always go controller, never keyboard and mouse.
Mm-hmm. I wonder one game on PC got me to use keyboard and mouse, and I forced myself, because I believe we talked about this when you brought that up on the podcast. Someone said, I relax and do keyboard and mouse all the time. So I like literally forced myself to be like, all right,
just be like
we're
this.
playing. Yep. And I got a little better. I'm marginally better. I'm not great at it. And a lot of the game nights, actually, when I played a lot of the like Sonoa Sacrifice and or Plague Tale, those are also reinforced all that.
I have at times played PC games keyboard and mouse, like games that aren't Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But Call of Duty, for whatever reason, I've just burned to keyboard and mouse.
We grew up on controller with Call of Duty, so it's pretty reasonable.
And it's also, I'm often jumping back and forth between PS4 and PC.
Yeah.
So I stick to one input mode.
Yeah, it makes sense. I do want to point out, because I don't think we said, or I didn't make it very clear, that in Shadows of Evil, once you beat, the Shadow Man, the tracks freeze when you zap them, they stay on, and then you can complete the rest of the Easter egg and get the Richtofen cutscene and continue the playing game like normal, as he fixed the error that solo, you need to have 4 players to zap everything. He fixed that. All he did was just change something in the function that kept it on. So you saw that in my gameplay. Maybe not you right now, John, but viewers already saw that in the gameplay, which I just thought was like such an easy, wonderful fix to get people in there. And John, the amount of times after you beat a fight and you can just play the game like normal, it's so refreshing. It's so terrific. Ending the game is such a mistake. To not let players like reap the rewards of these long ass Easter egg quests and these boss fights. It's so nice after you beat it just to run around the map like normal afterwards. I found it so nice, and even peaceful before we jumped into the boss fights. Like Revelations was really cool because you can just walk the whole map and it's just quiet. So anybody that doesn't really want to get into note clipping and doesn't really understand it, they can easily go to the Steam store, install this mod, and have a chance to just walk around the map with no zombies. And I think that would be a really cool experience.
Bro, what is your field of view?
Oh, is it close or far?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I'm watching it, and you got to the scene where Nikolai.
Oh yeah, it looks super wonky. Yeah. It
looks unnatural.
So weird. It must be really far then. Yeah.
I think so.
But oh yeah, this is also, I beat it and died at the exact same time. That was cool. That was a hell of a time right there. As I was going through all the maps, but I have nothing but really good things to say about this game mode and this mod. It's something I really wish you could do in the original Treyarch game, because the amount of fun you have by not going through all those steps cannot be understated, how helpful it is to you as a player. I'm going to probably jump to some of the Rev fights, because the Rev ones were brutal. And Sophia yelling at you also was like, oh, I remember why I don't like Rev. Because at first I was like, I like this. And then she's just bitching at you to get in the fight. I'm like, this fucking map, man. This god-darn map.
But I couldn't beat the Rev one either. Or, yeah, Rev. That one.
I
was really bad at. That one I would die a lot, really frequently.
I died a bunch too.
I would charge up the summoning key, and I'd always die either as I was trying to get the summoning key to Sophia, or as I'm shooting the Shadow Man. I would like throw down an Arnie, and then once the Arnies ran out, I wouldn't have time to also shoot the Shadow Man and throw another one down.
What was your protection method? Just Arnies?
Yeah.
DGs. Put the DGs down and you're good.
Well, no, I did think about that strategy, and I tried that once.
You just didn't.
That did pop into my mind. I'm like, okay, I could throw the DGs down.
Yep.
Then throw an Arnie, and then maybe a Marzagua, but I didn't want the Marzagua because I wanted the Thunder Gun, because I thought that would get me out of trickier situations, and I wasn't running Mule Kick because I didn't want to depend on weapons that I could lose if I go down.
I had to get rid of Mule Kick because the switching wasn't fast enough for the shooting.
Yeah, well, that was exactly I didn't want Mule Kick. So I was choosing between the Thunder Gun and the Marzagua, and I'm like, the Marzagua just, I think the Thunder Gun just seemed like it would get me out of trouble more. And as a lesser zombies player, I'm in trouble more.
Marzagua was the better take. It's probably one of the most overpowered Wonder weapons by far. It even stops Margwas and stuff like that. But you also weren't running head trauma. So that's a huge difference in playing those games. I would suggest you try running through it again for fun with some of the gobblegums on to see how that goes. I think you'll have an even more fun time seeing how you annihilate the bosses, because those are the biggest trouble. Margwas were a pain in the ass in Revelations for me, because they just hide their heads, and I'm trying to do it as fast as possible, and it just like I had to slow things down. Did you notice PC? Did you play with frames uncapped on PC?
Nah, my PC's not good enough for that.
Holy shit! I think things are bound to your frames. When I'm running around as the Margwa, the evil, the beast. What do they call it when you go into your Apothecon form in Shadows of Evil? I don't remember it anymore.
I'm not sure.
But I'm flying, man. I am moving so fast, and when you do the gobblegum machine, the thing's just blinking every frame. So it's like, I'm like, oh god! After Shadows of Evil, when you beat it, you can go and just go to the machines normally. And I was like, oh my god, what is happening? So it was just cool. I was learning so much in this mod, and I think that's why I liked it so much. I think I got that. I'm running through my list of all my notes now. Do you have any other things?
I was curious if you could rank them on difficulty.
Oh, sure.
I'm gonna say this is just based off my solo experience.
Yeah.
Rev.
Yes.
Is the hardest.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Shadows.
Mm-hmm.
Shadows is not hard because it's hard to survive, but hard because it's a lot to do just by yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then I'm gonna go GK.
Yep.
DE.
Yep.
Rev.
Zet. You said Rev twice.
Oh yeah, Zet. I meant Zet.
Yeah, 100%.
That's stupid easy.
Yeah.
GK's just long.
They can trip you up in GK. You can make a mistake.
GK, they throw a lot at you, but they also give you a lot of tools.
Yes, very much so.
Rev, or DE, the hardest part I found actually about DE was just like building up the meter for my DGs. I
found out with head trauma and just using a normal gun instantly. Don't use your bows. It just fills it up.
Yeah, well, I was using a normal gun, and I knew the normal gun was faster.
Yeah.
But I wasn't using head trauma. But I found I wasn't always able to get it in a single cycle. So I'd have to hide behind the pole, throw down a monkey, defend myself a little. Like I had a couple downs of me just hiding behind the pole because it took longer than it.
That makes sense.
To hang out behind one little stationary platform.
And then it's an ammo problem comes into play. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was being. I mean, I knew I'd get a max ammo after every cycle, so I didn't have to be super conservative, but I had to be a little mindful.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Thomas Merrill just said, my first time in the Red boss fight, I had Thunder Gun, Apothecon Servant, and as my main guns, the Dingo as my third. I went down. It was literally impossible to beat it. Yeah. I mean, you got to hit him with the Mars Agua or the Thunder Gun, and Thunder Gun doesn't hit him well at all. That sounds impossible to beat him. Oof.
Yeah, I'm watching you do the Rev Easter egg.
Oh,
now.
I'm gonna. Yeah, I lose so many times.
I see it though with the
head trauma
with the PC and mouse though. Why it's so useful? I'm watching the way I'm watching you move.
Oh, I don't think I'm using PC and mouse yet. At the last fight, I'll zoom ahead to the one I win, and I'll show you the difference.
I was watching you shoot the Shadow Man. It just looked like you were just blinking onto him.
That was controller.
Oh,
yeah.
Really quick.
So I'll show you.
Because your movement was like on point.
Thank you. Oh, hey, that feels good. But let me show you. I'm on keyboard now for the final run here. It is. You got to be perfect on the first time. His timer gets longer, I believe, for how much time you have to shoot him, depending on how many times you fail. And the first time is just miserable.
I would notice that his timer's super fucking short.
And the first time, I don't know if it's possible. If you can get him a one cycle, I'd love to know. I bet someone has gotten him one cycle, but it's just like.
Can you do it in multiplayer?
Yes, you absolutely can do it in multiplayer.
Yeah, multiplayer, but solo.
But solo, I was struggling with it. But after this next bout here, you're going to be behind a little bit. But once I fail the first time, second time I get it no problem. Like I have plenty of time to do it. But I burned my DGs, so I actually do it without the DGs. Interesting fight. I had times where I burned through all 4 of the charges with the summoning key because I just couldn't get them. I was just getting pissed. And I just was restarting because I'm like, God damn it! I gotta get this.
If You burn through all 4 charges. What happens?
It just resets. It's all 4 again.
Okay, that's what I thought. But I would never last that long.
Well, with me, the problem I was having was I was getting tired. It was like 12:30, and I wanted to make sure I had gameplay for Zombroz today. And I was like, I gotta beat it. I refuse to go to bed till I beat it. And yeah, here we go. I believe this is the winning run. I decided not to zoom in, and that was just Easyville for being able to get the win. And yeah, there it is.
Makes sense.
But without having weapon kits, that really does change up too how you approach the Rev and the Shadows of Evil boss fight. Because having extended mags and having sights and having stuff to like steady aim, all that stuff helps you, or whatever it does for the bullet spread. It really does make a difference. I think you take head trauma off, you take dead shot off, that because you can just have dead shot plus all the other perks. You make this way harder. You can make this a super challenge mode, which I think is really cool.
And you have that option because you go in there and you can limit what you bring into the boss.
Oh, it's head drama? Okay, boss man, there you go. I forgot. No one corrected me, so good on you. Head drama.
The players absolutely have that option.
Yeah.
Where they can bring in everything.
Yeah, and have fun.
Bring in nothing.
Yeah.
It's great. I think this is one of the most interesting mods I've seen in Black Ops 3. That's not a custom map.
And Pale Fry says Rev boss fight hard, in the sense of just what we're talking in this boss rush mode. Yeah, it's clearly the hardest one if that's the ones we're dying the most or didn't finish. Like without doubt, the other ones it was trivial to me. I beat all the other ones without downs. Well, I beat DE without a down, Zet without a down, GK. I was just sloppy. I forgot how to pull up the shield, and that's why I died. But Rev and Shadows were clearly giving me trouble with the timing of it all, because you have to be shooting, dealing with zombies, and pressing square at the same time. That's if you're good at that, then yeah, it's going to be just as trivial as all the other ones.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Corlessa for making the mod.
Yes, that was my last thing. Creator Corlessa. I wanted to make sure, and I linked it in the description. If you want to download the mod yourself, it is in the description of this video. Awesome. All right.
Really good.
Donations and topic time.
Yeah. So we'll jump over into topic time right now.
Yeah.
So Cheese Puff says, how do y'all like your eggs cooked?
I don't eat eggs anymore. Apparently those are one of the things that upset my stomach. So I love eggs, but I don't eat them anymore. I did like them cooked omelet. So, or I guess sunny side up. Those are my two favorites.
I go sunny side up. But I will often go scrambled because it's easier and I can just mix in a bunch of shit. And so suddenly it's more filling.
Yep. Or make a sandwich out of it. That's always good.
Yeah, it's easier. It's easier to make, like, I find that like I can make scrambled eggs and I can throw in a few spices and make it, throw in a few like things that are good, and just easier.
Description has numbers instead of a link to the mod. Let me double check that.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
What?
I was curious what the numbers were. Sweet and Lo-Fi says, do you think a reboot of the storyline in 2020 would be refreshing or milking a dead horse? I think a reboot is refreshing because it's a clean slate.
What the fuck?
While Reed's working on that, I'll just give my thoughts. I think a reboot would be more refreshing than milking a dead horse because it's characters we like and we already know. I mean, they are kind of rehashing something that they've been doing for 10 years. But, you know, you could put a new, fresh perspective on the zombie storyline. So I think a reboot isn't a terrible idea. I'm not out on Chaos. Like, I think they could still continue Chaos. We left it on an interesting note after Ancient Evil. But I'm not entirely opposed to a reboot. Yeah,
I don't know. I just have an open mind. BO4 was such a letdown and so disappointing that, I mean, I have no love for that game, man. I mean, I have love and appreciation for what the developers did. A lot of the Chaos stuff was really cool. I guess no love is not true, but I don't have the love I have for like BO3 or previous Black Ops games. Something about it didn't click with me, and that's it. That's just all can happen. It's all that's gonna come from that. Anyway,
AHL's favorite zombie game besides COD Zombies.
Last of Us.
I'm gonna say Minecraft.
Resident Evil 2. Those are probably the two favorites of mine. Last of Us and Resident Evil 2. I guess Last of Us might not have zombies, but there you go.
Captain Murphy says, FYI, you can throw a Shadow Man on the first cycle, throw a little Arnie, use a Death Machine Gobble Gum, and
Oh,
you'll
yep.
have him beat in 10 seconds.
Yep.
Done it many times
Yep.
myself.
That's true. That's true. That's right. That's another method. Yep.
He also says, have you seen El Camino yet? What'd you think? FYI, there's a tiny clue dropped at the end of the movie that no one has mentioned in any reviews. It's a big thing because it's the reason for the movie being made.
What was the clue? Did you just not say it?
I'm not sure he didn't say what the clue was.
How could you do that?
It's in a final flashback, apparently.
I
liked
saw
El
it.
Camino a
Yeah,
lot.
I thought it was good.
If you're, it's a movie that doesn't need to be made.
Yeah.
It's also at times feels a little bit of a nothing movie, but I enjoyed it.
I thought it was fine. Like, this is something where it's like we wanted to revisit a character we liked. It's like hearing people complain about it, just like, so you'd rather it never be made? Like, grow up.
Yeah.
Like, a bunch of artists got together and be like, I really want to make something cool. It's like, it's you could argue it's like filler basically for character development or whatever, but it's like, yeah, it's fun. That's great. I don't know. I like to find to the universe, but I'm not a hardcore Breaking Bad person. So, reform it to zombies or Game of Thrones, probably I have a different opinion of it. But to me, it was like, this is more good. What's wrong with more good?
Without spoiling it.
Yeah.
You could kind of assume how El Camino ends is how things would have gone on after Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
So it's like you didn't actually need to fill out all of that expository detail.
Mm-hmm.
But it was done well enough, and I enjoyed revisiting these characters that I really liked 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Jesse was my favorite part of Breaking Bad, so I didn't mind it. It was all like extra details, but it was done well enough and really with a lot of respect towards the original series that I thought it was good.
Mm-hmm. Did you see the alternate ending? Not that they made one, but he discussed it, and his girlfriend, I believe, Vince Gilligan, made him be like, no, you can't do that to Jesse. Like, you should Google those articles. I forgot what it was now, but I know it was something, because I don't want to spoil which way it goes either for the viewer, so I'll be ambiguous. But it was interesting to be like, oh, that was a possible approach. Now I get why people would be like, oh, that's why you wanted to make this movie, because he did end up changing the ending of the movie.
I didn't know that.
But I think I'm glad he did, to be honest with you.
I found an article, but I'll read it after the fact.
I was so disappointed. I logged onto the Reddit, and everyone was complaining about the movie, and just like the movie Reddit or the Breaking Bad Reddit. I'm just like, Reddit just complains about things they like. I was hoping to see some cool discussion about things I might have missed in the movie, and they're just bitching like, it's not necessary. It wasn't very good. I was hoping for more Breaking Bad like information. I'm like, I thought you guys were supposed to like this stuff. What the fuck? I don't know. I'm disappointed by how fandoms can get so angry about something as clean as El Camino. Was just it was just a fun more movie. You get more stuff. Yay. You get to enjoy it a little longer. Otherwise, Breaking Bad's over for good.
Exactly. I did find it funny though how much weight Todd gained in between Breaking Bad and El Camino.
Yeah.
And I was like, I did a double take. I'm like, what happened to young Matt Damon?
Yeah.
Young blonde Matt Damon. Dr. Minty asks, are you excited for Rick and Morty to return tonight?
I don't know about excited. I have been following it, and
I'll watch it.
I think I'll watch it tonight. I don't know if I'm really excited.
Premiere, but I'll watch it.
I probably have nothing better to do tonight, so I'll just probably have it on.
Mm-hmm. In Magna Collider 15 says, if given the choice in any Treyarch Zombies map, would you take a secondary grenade, Arnie's, or homunculus?
Secondary grenade, Arnie's, or homunculus?
I'm gonna go Arnie's.
Arnie's, really? Well, Arnie's pretty good in that sense. There's a custom map hotel I loved, which was the like Harvey Yena bombs. Those were like the greatest secondary equipment weapons they ever put into zombies I've ever experienced. They were so amazing. They were basically the scavenger C4, and that was so cool. But that's not what he asked, and I apologize for completely deflecting there. I feel like there's been other good equipment I can't think of right now. I'll go with Arnie's too. I do think Arnie's are better than homunculus, even though the homunculus is fun, little dance he does. But I feel like there's something better.
Which one do you want? No, I think the question is, which one do you want, Arnie's or homunculus?
Oh, that's the question. My apologies. I thought it was like this, or any of the others. Yeah. I apologize.
Yeah, I just, that's why I was a little confused by the question. Once I read it a second time, I understood it now.
Oh, then, yeah. Even though I despise tentacles, Arnie's just seem good. I don't know. I like them.
Mm-hmm.
They work well in the game where Homunculus doesn't really. I don't have enough exposure with the Homunculus. Probably didn't play enough Black Ops to build a bond. BO4.
Have you played Sweet and Lo-Fi asked, have you played Death Standing yet?
Death Stranding, no. I plan
Death
to.
Stranding, yeah,
I've heard some pretty mixed things, and I feel like that'll be a good video to cut. There's a mechanic that I don't think it's too big a spoiler, but your controller cries, and you have to get the controller to stop crying a lot in the game, which sounds awful and probably will annoy the shit out of me, and I feel like I could make some funny videos out of it. So I feel a little... Speaking of Rick and Morty, though, they did an advertisement for Death Stranding. Oh, really?
In which it's like Morty was the character with, I guess, the baby thing attached to it.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're walking in the world, and they're like, what is Morty's like? What is this baby thing attached to me? And Rick's like, I don't know. Let's eat it.
Oh,
he's like, we can't eat a baby. And then Rick's like, yeah, but what if it gives us a cool power up? It makes us run faster. And then Morty's like, okay, we'll eat the baby.
That's great. Awesome.
Yeah, but that wraps it up for topic time. Thank you to patrons who support the show and submit topics. Thank you.
Absolutely. David Kirk donates again consistently week after week. David, thank you for coming out to the Zombroz show. I'm getting a Switch Lite around Christmas. Excuse me. What games do you recommend I get first? Great show today. The fantasy zombie boxing booking was good fun. And why does it always crop in such a strange way? Good fun, and I shall check out this mod and see what I think. Awesome. That's great. Send all of our love to Corlisa? Corlisa? Is that how you say it? Korlesa?
I thought it was Corlessa, but
Corlessa sounds better to me. Corlessa, yeah. I'm thinking of the room. Lisa, you're tearing me apart. Sorry. I would recommend Smash Ultimate. It's an excellent game. I heard Mario Tennis, the new Mario Parties, all good games. Legend of Zelda is a can't miss. It's one of the best games ever made by many people. I didn't fall in love with it, but it's still an excellent game. Odyssey. Super Mario Odyssey.
Odyssey, Ultimate, Breath of the Wild, I think, are the three standards.
Yes.
Fun, cheap puzzle game, Snipper Clips.
Ooh.
Did you play Snipper Clips?
No, but that sounds great. I love puzzle games.
It's a puzzle game where you're two basically shapes that are shaped like the Joy-Cons. Each Joy-Con controls an individual shape. So it's a game you can play with a friend, or you can just play it by yourself, controlling both at the same time.
Yep.
And you have to, and so when they overlap, you can cut different bits out of them. So these two
shapes, I got it now. I got the puzzle now. Yep.
These two shapes can cut each other apart into other shapes. And you use that to make other shapes to solve puzzles.
That's cool.
It's a really fun little simple puzzle game. I enjoyed that. Let's see, what are other like off the beaten track games? A Mario Kart, of course. That's
Mario Kart 8.
Honestly, any Nintendo first party game,
pretty good. I wonder if they improved the Olympics. I played the Wii, like 2008 Beijing Olympics, and I never picked up another Mario Sonic Olympic games because it was such crap.
Yeah, I had that and I hardly played it.
So bad.
Mario Maker, of course.
Yep. Of course. Mario Maker 2 was excellent.
For Pokemon Sword and Shield, that looks really good.
Fire Emblem.
If you like Civ, they have Civ 6 on the Switch. That's been fun.
Yep. I want to try out the Fire Emblem because they have these like tactics, and I've always loved their like RTS tactic battle stuff, and you get to see like turn-based RPG fighting. That's something Donkey hates and something I've grown to like over time.
I'm not a fan.
I don't know why. I've totally
It works for me. It works for me in Pokemon, but not other games.
Yeah. I don't like Pokemon. That's funny. I don't like Pokemon that much. And I like it in other games. That's weird. That's really weird. Okay. Sorry.
Oh, I didn't know this. Enter the Gungeon is on Switch.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a game that you can get a lot of playthrough out of. Hollow Knight's on the Switch. There's a lot. Honestly, most Switch games are a hit.
Yeah. Well, Switch also takes on so many games too, and I think they're pretty friendly towards indie devs. So just be careful. But Celeste is another big one. Dead Cells. If you start getting into like the indie game of the year stuff, you have a wide library of very successful games and even raunchy games. The Switch is more raunchy and mature friendly now than Sony. Sony banned boobs basically.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and Nintendo's very M friendly for those weird like borderline. They're very questionable dating sim games. Put it that way. They're pretty chill.
It's got to be a Japanese culture thing we just don't understand.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But isn't Sony Japanese too?
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. That's. I think I made the exact same argument, and then I think I came to the same conclusion. Anyway, sorry. Let's keep going. That was great. All right, that was the donation. Martin Perez. I had a free super chat, so here you go. Not letting it go to waste. Well, thank you, Martin.
Thank you.
Patreon, Mr. Sexy Pizza, using this account for YouTube Premium. Enjoy. Thank you so much. And thanks for supporting the Patreon. Got that. Ricky Hall again, who donated 20 big bucks through the chat here about the boxing. That was fun, man. Maybe we should try and every week have some fantasy competition for zombie YouTubers to try and place. Yeah. That might be fun. Every now and then. And Mr. Drown, again, coming through. Good day, gentlemen. It's good to see you back. The show helps many of us out, or at the very least entertains us. So whatever topics you want to discuss, zombies or not, we'll gladly tune in. Zombros must live on. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a good day. Thank you so much, Mr. Drown. What a wonderful message to end the show on. Thank you all for coming out. We will see you in the next Zombros episode. I'm not sure if it'll be next week. Just always prepare Sundays. It's always Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if we have topics to discuss. We'll let you know on our Twitters and any posts on YouTube or anything like that. We'll keep you updated. Follow us on our Discords. And that's the best way to know if Zombros is coming out. Thank you to all of our wonderful Patreon supporters. All the shows are caught up on Spotify and iTunes. They are up there. 176 episodes. I think it's only 100 at a time, actually. iTunes only stores 100 episodes of podcast, and Spotify works off the same thing. So you only have episodes 178 will be 179 minus 99 other episodes, just as a point of reference. Everything's always archived on YouTube. Anyway, thanks for the support. Thank you for the generous donations, and we'll see you in the next episode of Zombros. Stay safe till we see you then, and take care. Bye now.